Hello, Internet. It's that same day, and well, a few hours later, we will be doing February 8th now. So I didn't do my intro properly. It is time to read the Bible. There we go. So we will be reading Exodus chapter 28, verse 1 through 43. Hopefully, we're done with tabernacle instructions and stuff and getting back to the main story, but who knows? Consecrate Aaron your brother and his sons, Nadab, Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar, to be priests to minister to me. Make special clothes for Aaron to indicate his separation to God, beautiful garments that will lend dignity to his work. Instruct those to whom I have given special skills as tailors to make garments that will set him apart from others, so that he may minister to me in the priest's office. This is the wardrobe they shall make: a chest piece, an ephod, a robe, an embroidered shirt, turban, and a sash. They shall also make special garments for Aaron's sons. The ephod shall be made by the most skilled of workmen, using gold, blue, purple, and scarlet threads of fine linen. It will consist of 2 pieces, front and back, joined at the shoulders, and the sash shall be made of the same material, threads of gold, blue, purple, and scarlet, fine twined linen. Take 2 onyx stones and engrave on them the names of the tribes of Israel. 6 names shall be on each stone, so that all of the tribes are named in the order of their births. When engraving these names, use the same technique as in making a seal. Mount the stones in gold settings. Fasten the 2 stones upon the shoulders of the ephod as memorial stones for the people of Israel. Aaron will carry their names before the Lord as a constant reminder. 2 chains of pure, twisted gold shall be made and attached to gold clasps on the shoulder of the ephod. I cannot take this anymore. I'm going to have to do a silly one. I was never going to use this voice, but it is time. Then, using the most careful workmanship, make the chest piece to be used as God's oracle. Use the same gold, blue, and purple and scarlet threads of fine twined linen as Uzzah did in the ephod. This chest piece is to be of 2 folds of cloth, forming a pouch 9 inches square. Attach it 4 rows of stones. A ruby, a topaz, and emerald shall be in the first row. This second row will be carbuncle, a sapphire, and a diamond. This third row will be amber, an agate, and an amethyst. This fourth row will be an onyx, a beryl, and a jasper, all set in gold settings. Each stone will represent one of the tribes of Israel, and the names of the tribe will be engraved upon it like a seal. Attaching the top of the chest piece to the ephod by means of 2 twisted cords of pure gold. One end on each cord is attached to the golden rings placed at the outer top edge of the chest piece. The other ends of the 2 cords are attached to the front edge of the 2 settings of onyx stones on the shoulder of the ephod. Then making 2 small gold rings and placing them on the 2 lower inside edges of the chest piece. Also, make 2 other gold rings for the bottom front edge of the ephod at the sash. Now, attach the bottom of the chest piece to the bottom rings of the ephod by means of blue ribbons. This will prevent the chest piece from coming loose from the ephod. In this way, Aaron shall carry the names of the tribes of Israel on the chest piece over his heart. It is God's oracle. When Hisa goes into the holy place, thus Jehovah will be reminded of them continually. Insert into the pocket of the chest piece the Urim and Thummim. 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 To be carried over Aaron's heart when he goes in before Jehovah. Thus Aaron shall always be carrying the oracle over his heart when he goes in before the Lord. Ephod shall be made of blue cloth, and an opening for Aaron's head. It shall have a woven band around this opening, just as on the neck of a coat of mail, so that Indecent will not fray. The bottom edge of the ephod shall be embroidered with blue, purple, and scarlet pomegranates, alternated with golden bells. Aaron shall wear the ephod whenever he goes in to minister to the Lord. The bells will tinkle as he goes in and out of the presence of the Lord in the holy place, so that he will not die. Next, make a plate of pure gold and engrave on it, just as you would upon a seal consecrated to Jehovah. This plate is to be attached by means of a blue ribbon in front of Aaron's turban. Ready. In this way, Aaron will be wearing it upon his forehead, and thus bear the guilt connected with any errors regarding the offerings of the peoples of Israel. It shall always be worn when he goes into the presence of the Lord, so that the people will be accepted and forgiven. Weave Aaron embroidered shirt from fine twined linen using a checkerboard pattern. Make the turban, 2 of this linen, and make in him an embroidered sash. Then for Aaron's sons, make robes, sashes, and turbans, and give them honor and respect. Clothe Aaron and his sons with these garments, and then dedicate these men to the ministry by anointing their heads with olive oil, thus sanctifying them as priests, my ministers. Also, make linen undershorts for them, be worn beneath their robes next to their bodies, reaching from hips to knees. These are to be worn whenever Aaron and his sons go into the tabernacle or to the altar in the holy place, lest they be guilty and die. There. This is permanent ordinance for Aaron and his sons. Ooh, miss, I've been talking a long time. For those who um, for those who hid those memories and buried them deep in their subconscious, that was Jar Jar Binks from Star Wars Episode 1. I kind of started to drift a little bit into Stitch because they're both kind of in that kind of high-pitched, gurgly range, but I tried to stay as much in Jar Jar as I could. Anyway. Now, moving on to the New Testament, we will do Matthew chapter 25, verse 31, through 26, verse 13. But when I, the Messiah, shall come in my glory, and all the angels with me, then I shall sit upon my throne of glory, and all the nations shall be gathered before me. And I will separate the people as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats, and place the sheep at my right hand, and the goats at my left. Then I, the King, shall say to those at my right, Come, blessed of my Father, into the kingdom prepared for you from the founding of the world. For I was hungry, and you fed me. I was thirsty, and you gave me water. I was a stranger, and you invited me into your homes. Naked, and you clothed me. Sick and in prison, and you visited me. Then these righteous ones will reply, Sir, when did we ever see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you anything to drink? Or a stranger and help you, or naked and clothe you? When did we ever see you sick or in prison and visit you? And I, the King, will tell them, When you did it to these, my brothers, You are doing it to me. Then I will turn to those on my left and say, Away with you, you cursed ones! Enter the eternal fire, prepared for the devil and his demons. For I was hungry, and you wouldn't feed me, thirsty, and you wouldn't give me anything to drink, a stranger, and you refused me hospitality, naked, and you wouldn't clothe me, sick and in prison, and you didn't visit me. Then they will reply, Lord, when did we ever see you hungry or thirsty, or a stranger, or naked, or sick, or in prison, and not help you? And I will answer, When you refuse to help the least of these, my brothers, you were refusing to help me. And they shall go away into eternal punishment, but the righteous into everlasting life. When Jesus had finished when Jesus had finished this talk with his disciples, he told them, As you know, the Passover celebration begins in 2 days, and I shall be betrayed and crucified. At that very moment, the chief priests and other Jewish officials were meeting at the residence of the Caiaphas, the high priest, to discuss ways of capturing Jesus quietly and killing him. But not during the Passover celebration, they agreed, for there would be a riot. Jesus now proceeded to Bethany, to the home of Simon the leper. While he was eating, a woman came in with a bottle of very expensive perfume and poured it over his head. The disciples were indignant. What a waste of good money, they said. And she could have sold it for a fortune and given it to the poor. Jesus knew what they were thinking and said, Why are you criticizing her? For she has done a good thing to me. You will always have the poor among you, but you won't always have me. To prepare my body for burial. Oh, I skipped a line. Apologies. You won't always have me. She has poured this perfume on me to prepare my body for burial, and she will always be remembered for this deed. The story of what she has done will be told throughout the whole world, wherever the good news is preached. Even now, I tell it to you once more. I know there's always this kind of debate among Christians between oh, we should build like fancy churches and big monuments and on one side, I know what was it? There's like this giant light up church, like not church, cross, just kind of like set in a field as like 50 meters tall or something. I don't know. It was like is a pretty big cross and it lit up. And I heard so many Christians angry about that, saying it was a waste of money. It could have been used to do this and that. And I'm like, it's glorifying God. Everybody who goes past that highway is going to see the cross and be reminded of God, whether that's for or against is between God and that person. But still, it was being used to celebrate God. Now, I understand people who get upset at like mega church pastors who buy like 3 private jets for themselves. That is kind of a waste of the Lord's money. But if you're using it to glorify God and his kingdom, you're using it well. Obviously, we do want to tend to the poor and feed them and everything Jesus said before that. But, I miss us being I miss us making beautiful things. I know there's nothing wrong with a church being in like a used like an abandoned gym or what's another or like a warehouse or a pizza place, whatever Lake Point is. I don't even know. But just like an abandoned mini mall or what have you. But I mean, what I why do Catholics are the only ones who make cool stuff? I want a beautiful chapel that shows the beauty of the Lord to anyone who looks at it. I do. I love that there's a giant Jesus statue in Brazil or Rio de Janeiro or somewhere. It's just like looking out over the mountains, and I hear people arguing about that, and I'm like, why? You're Christians. You should be happy that someone decided to spend that money to glorify God, just the way this lady here bought really expensive perfume and just smashed, well, not smashed, she poured it over Jesus' head. It is gone and it will never be seen or smelled again, but it is told to this day. I'm sorry, that's just one of my pet peeves. It bothers me that beauty is taken for such, maybe it's the artist in me, like I went to college for animation and I love art and storytelling and beauty and color, and I want those things to be prevalent, especially in the church. It really ticks me off that the certain community stole the rainbow and is like commandeering it from the rest of the world, so we can't use that particular image without it being confusing. And then like all the other alphabet pixels did like 7 other different combinations of colors, so it's like you would have to look up what colors you're using or else you're accidentally going to be, I guess you don't have to, like they either condemn or claim anything, whether it's for them or not. I've gotten so sidetracked, I'm sorry, it's late. Anyway, my main point, I want Christianity to be beautiful, and I want us to worship God through our art and architecture, not just our voices and ourselves. Like I understand that humility is important. I understand that being thrifty is important. But I want us to do stuff that people can just look at and go, "Oh, they really love their God. They're not just putting in the minimum effort." That's just me. That's just me. I've ranted enough. Let's finish up. In Psalms chapter 31, verses 9 through 18. Hmm, any fun voices? Trying to think. Hmm, nothing's coming to mind. I'll just do kind of a generic. Oh Lord, have mercy on me in my anguish. My eyes are red from weeping, my health is broken from sorrow. I am pining away with grief. My years are shortened, drained away because of sadness. My sins have sapped my strength. I stoop with sorrow and with shame. I am scorned by all my enemies, and even more by my neighbors and friends. They dread meeting me and look the other way when I go by. I am forgotten like a dead man, like a broken and discarded pot. I heard the lies about me, the slanders of my enemies. Everywhere I looked, I was afraid, for they were plotting against my life. But I am trusting you, Lord. I said, you alone are my God. My times are in your hands. Rescue me from those who hunt me down relentlessly. Let your favor shine again upon your servant. Save me just because you are so kind. Don't disgrace me, Lord, by not replying when I call for your aid. But let the wicked be shamed by what they trust in. Let them lie silently in their graves, their lying lips quieted at last. The lips of these arrogant men are accusing honest men of evil deeds. Amen. I wish so very much that all the liars would get what's coming to them. That the lips would be silenced, they would lie in the grave. Whatever political party you are, whatever economic background you are, whatever race you are, if you are a liar, you are accusing good men of evil things. I wish you nothing but Now, finally, we have Proverbs for today. It's chapter 8, 11 through 13. For the value of wisdom is far above the rubies. There was no there. There was no thee there. I don't know why I said the rubies. It's just rubies. For the value of wisdom is far above rubies. Nothing can be compared with it. Wisdom and good judgment live together. Wisdom knows where to discover knowledge and understanding. If anyone respects and fears God, he will hate evil. For wisdom hates pride, arrogance, corruption, and deceit of every kind. I've already ranted like 3 times. I won't do much more other than I am also very irritated that it seems like so many good people do not hate evil. They are saddened by evil. They give empathy to those who have evil committed against them, but it feels like they don't hate evil enough. Like it doesn't. If you really hated evil that much, I don't think the world would be in the state it's in. I think if we really hated evil so much, we would not allow it to exist as prevalently as we do. We would make sure the laws and the punishments are dished out to those who deserve it. That's maybe that's ignorant. I mean, I have no power, and I have done very little beyond voting for things that because I don't know what to do beyond leave it to God. It just feels like people are not as disgusted by evil, don't recognize it when they see it. Accuse good for being evil, accuse evil being good. It's a lot, but I digress. And I've used enough of your time. Thank you for listening. Move the camera down too. Oh, I just realized that it's chopping off my head a bit. Yeah, well, these are unedited for a reason because it's more of a direct connection between me and all of you. So you witness all of my mistakes and all of my imperfections and all of my little pet peeves and whatnot. So uh, I hope that you extend, patience and forgiveness to me of anything that rubs you the wrong way as well. It comes from a good place. I'm human. I make mistakes. I have my own inconsistencies, I'm sure, with everything. But I do love everyone. If all, that's not true. Let's be true. I'm very bad at loving everyone. I try to love everyone, even my enemies. And I legitimately do want the best for everyone. I wish that everyone would turn to God and repent and live in a way that is serving God and others and themselves equally. Well, not God the most, but I mean, all three of those things are being pushed forward in a way that leads to a fulfilling life. Because obviously, in order to love your neighbor, you have to love yourself. In order to understand love, you have to love God. And then the Trinity there is so necessary to having a complete life. And I know when I get out of balance is part of why I'm doing it again. I'm rambling. It's like 1:30 here. I'm going to blame it on that. So thank you for listening, and I will not blame you if you exited out early after the reading was completed. But for those that stuck around, thank you. I love you, regardless of who or what you are. And as always, God bless you.